So I want to make something very, very clear to you. There is no such a thing as a risk-free career change. There is no such thing as a guaranteed exit from a corporate job. But there is such a thing as a smarter one or a safer one. So whatever you do, you're not just going to magically snap your fingers and replace your salary overnight. But there are definitely ways you can make that transition online a lot more straightforward. Because the smartest people, they evaluate all their options, but then choose one with the highest return on their time. The best option that will get them to where they want to go. So in today's video, I have a very simple promise for you. I'm going to show you the most intelligent way for a 25 to 30-year-old man who's been working for a few years now to build a flexible and a future-proof online income outside of their job in 2026. And we're going to do that by honestly evaluating every realistic option available to you and getting to the bottom of what actually makes the most sense for you specifically. Because I know you. I know that you feel like you're meant for more. I know that you don't want to do this for another 35 years. I know that you want to be fully free and be able to provide for your family. I know that. And now I want you to listen because I'm sure you've seen this. And I'm sure that you're also tired of it. The moment that you tell someone that you want to leave your job to build something online, something of your own, your parents start telling you that you're throwing everything away. Your colleagues think you've lost your mind. Your partner gets nervous. And somewhere in the back of your own head, a voice says, "Who do you think you are?" And here's the thing, I get it. Because I've heard every version of that conversation. And so have the men that I've worked with. But let me ask you something honestly. So using that same logic, is that why doctors who spent a decade in medical school work 80 hours a week and save lives for a living, but still feel time or locationally constrained just because they haven't been grateful enough or worked hard enough? Of course not. We know that's not true. Being grateful for what you do has nothing to do with this. Ambition has nothing with it to do either. The men who I know that are still stuck in their jobs, they are some of the hardest working, most driven people that I know. They show up early, they perform, they hit every target, they do exactly what they're supposed to do, but they still go home on a Sunday night feeling like I'm meant for more. And the world around them, their colleagues, their parents, their friends, they all tell them to work harder and be patient, get the next promotion, negotiate a better package, negotiate a better deal, negotiate a better salary. Hard work is an important component, however, it's not the most important one. As Warren Buffett once famously said, it's not about how hard you row, it's about the boat that you're rowing in. So today, I'm going to help you find that boat. And I'm going to do that by walking through every single option a serious professional like you actually considers. Now listen, I come from a very specific place here. I'm not someone who read about this in a book or figured it out from a YouTube channel. I was born in Aleppo, Syria. I left at 9 years old during the war, and I arrived in Stockholm with nothing. No language, no money, no network, no degree. Obviously, I was 9. I grew up in a household with real instability, watched my family struggle, and made a decision very early that I was going to find a way out that didn't involve my faith being in someone else's hands. At 19, I took out a loan in my father's name because he refused to give it to me directly to pay $2,000 for a mentorship program that I wanted to invest in. I had no proof it would work, I had no safety net, and 2 months later I signed my first client, a gym, $600 a month, which I took my entire family out, 9 people out for a dinner, and spent all of that money, literally. It was the best money I've ever spent, don't get me wrong. By 21, I was collecting $22,000 in a single month in profit in my bank account. I flew my parents to Italy and paid for everything, the flights, the hotels, the food, the shopping. My father hadn't spoken to me for months because I dropped out of university, but he still came to Italy and, like we have a great relationship now. I'm telling you this not to impress you. I'm telling you this because everything I'm about to show you came from actually me living this, okay? Not theorizing about it. And I've since worked with men who had far more stability than I ever had, who followed the same process and got out faster than they thought possible, faster than I did. Men like Aman and Matthias, 2 friends who started from zero, built their income to $12,000 a month within 7 months, quit their jobs, and flew to Cyprus to meet me in person. Or Angelo, a teacher who signed 2 clients in his first 60 days while working full-time and playing football on weekends and having a committed relationship. One client paid him upfront, the other pays a monthly retainer plus commission. He built that alongside everything else he already has going on. These are not exceptional circumstances. These are men exactly like yourself, men who want more out of life, men who know that they are meant for more. They know that they want to be financially, locationally, and time-free. They found the right vehicle and followed a clear process. Okay, so let me show you how to find that vehicle for yourself right now. To compare these options properly, let's use 5 categories to accurately assess which one actually makes sense for where you are right now. The first is upfront capital. How much money do you need to get started? Because as we know, some options require higher amounts of capital or even funding or investors, which can make things more difficult. The second is AI resilience. Is this something AI is going to make more valuable over time, or is this something that AI will completely take over? Because in 2026, we can't deny it anymore. AI is here. AI is already replacing jobs. So us neglecting that would be not a smart move, which is not why we're here. The third is time to first result. So how long before you see real traction? Because if it takes 18 months to see anything, most people quit. And as we know, like, you have a full-time job, you have responsibilities, you're young, you feel like you're meant for more, you don't want to keep living in this same circle and the same cycle. So we want something, I'm not saying quick, because we're not here to do any quick results. That's not what we preach in this channel. That's not why we built TEU. However, we still want something that is, well, realistic, right? Building a business selling cars is not maybe the best option right now, just because it would take literally years to even potentially break in profit. The fourth is scalability. So can you grow this without simply working more hours? Can you grow this without always just having to do more? That's a scalable option. Because if you can't, you haven't built freedom, you've just built a different version of the same trap, maybe a higher paying job. And the fifth component is complexity. Does this require investors, a technical degree, a massive audience, or a decade of specialized experience? Or can someone with professional skills and genuine focus actually make this work from where they are right now? So to find the right vehicle, we need the one that meets all 5. Upfront capital is low, AI resilience is high, time to first result is fairly fast, scalability is real, complexity is manageable, and if we can find one that has all of these, we are in business. Okay? Now, I know that there are people telling you their path is the answer, and the reason they tell you that is because they only know one. It is the one they succeeded in. That is their entire data set. I've tried or seriously studied every single option we're about to go through, and I'm not even going to recommend you what I did for almost 3 years, because AI is taking over that space right now, and I had to adapt. And I'm obviously not going to recommend you to do something that wouldn't work anymore. That's why you're in the right place. So let's go through these honestly. Let's start with the most socially acceptable option, the MBA. It seems like the logical move, right? Upgrade the degree, unlock the next level, get taken more seriously, and I considered this myself at one point. The idea of having a legit institutional stamp of approval was appealing, and then I look at what it actually costs, not just in money, but in time, in opportunity, and what you're committing to on the other side of it. Upfront capital, $80,000 to $150,000 in tuition, plus 2 years out of the market. You're not building anything, you're buying a more expensive ticket for the same train. AI resilience, low and falling. The analytical and strategic thinking an MBA is supposed to give you is exactly what AI is best at replacing right now. The premium the market places on that credential is compressing every single year, if not every single month or week. Time to first result, well, you re-enter the same system you were trying to escape 2 years later with significantly more depth and slightly higher starting salary. So we're not actually getting the result that we wanted at all. Scalability, well, none. You've traded time for a credential, nothing compounds. And complexity, high upfront cost with no guaranteed outcome on the other side. So to summarize the MBA, upfront capital, very high. AI resilience, low. Time to first result, 2+ years to end up back where you started. Scalability, 0. Complexity, high. So despite what the university system has told you your entire life, an MBA in 2026 is a very expensive way to stay inside the same machine at a slightly higher range with no freedom unlocked whatsoever. Now let's talk about the most common moves, switching jobs and negotiating at a higher salary. Upfront capital, low, just your time and the discomfort of the interview process. AI resilience, unchanged. Time to first result, well, fast, new offer, you get a new number, new salary. Scalability, none. You've traded one salary ceiling for a slightly higher one. Complexity, low, but you're not solving anything, you're just delaying it. So to summarize, upfront capital, low. AI resilience, low. Time to first result, fast. Scalability, none. Complexity, low. So switching jobs is the easiest move you can make, or requesting a higher salary. It is also the one that leaves you in the exact same position in 3 years, having spent 3 years on the wrong problem. Let's talk about e-commerce and dropshipping. Upfront capital, $2,000 to $5,000 minimum, just to test whether you have a product that actually sells. And that money can disappear fast. AI resilience, well, moderate, because the competition AI is generating is making every product niche a bit more crowded simultaneously. However, the floor is also dropping for everyone at the same time because it's easier to now list products and sell something online. Scalability, moderate, actually. Supply chain issues can happen. Taxes can change. Platform algorithm shifts. Variables entirely outside of your control can wipe your margins overnight or over a week or a few months. So yes, you can scale it. There are a few things outside of your control that could potentially hold you back from doing so. Complexity, it's actually high because you need to master paid advertising, product research, supplier management, customer service, logistics. You need to become a full stack business owner actually, while holding down a full-time job. So it's a bit complex in my opinion. So to summarize e-commerce, upfront capital, 2,000 to 5,000, AI resilience, moderate, time to first result, well, 3 to 6 months actually. Scalability, moderate but fragile. Complexity, I'd say it's high. Time to first result, 3 to 6 months of testing before you find a product with real margin, and that assumes everything goes right. Despite what YouTube thumbnails suggest, e-commerce in 2026 requires significant capital, significant risk tolerance, and a level of operational complexity that is generally pushing for someone building this alongside a full-time job. Now let's talk about freelancing. Selling a specific skill directly to clients, writing, design, consulting, strategy. This was actually how I started. Finding businesses, offering them a service, getting paid directly, and it works to a point. Upfront capital, almost zero. This is generally where this option actually excels. AI resilience, well, this is where this becomes a problem because skills can easily become a commodity, and it's accelerating faster than most people realize because what people were charging $2,000 a month for in 2022, clients are now expecting AI tools to produce that for a fraction of the same cost. The floor on skill-based services is dropping and it's not going back up because of AI. Time to first result is actually relatively fast if you know how to sell something. Scalability, every new client is more hours. There is a hard ceiling of what one person can deliver. Scaling means hiring, which means managing, which means you have rebuilt the corporate job, except you're also now the HR department. It is scalable, don't get me wrong. It's just that you always need to hire more people. Complexity, moderate to start, grows quickly though. So to summarize, freelancing, upfront capital, near zero. AI resilience, low and falling. Time to first result, moderate. Scalability, very low. Complexity, grows quickly. Freelancing is actually a legit way to make your first $5,000 to $10,000 a month, don't get me wrong. Getting significantly past that without rebuilding the structure you were trying to escape, that's where it can get a bit tricky and that's where it can break down. Now let's talk about remote sales. Upfront capital, low, because you actually almost don't need any upfront capital. You just need to jump in on someone else's business and start selling. AI resilience, moderate. High trust human sales will remain valuable for longer than most roles, but the ceiling is still someone else's business, someone else's terms. Time to first result, 60 to 90 days to get placed and ramped up. Scalability, very limited because you're trading time for commission. The only way to earn more is to sell more, which means working more, or obviously you can improve your skills, but also only to a certain degree. There is no one out there who closes all of his deals. Complexity, moderate, I would say. Real skills take genuine time to develop, but that's pretty much it. You just have to become better at that skill. So to summarize remote sales, upfront capital, low. AI resilience, moderate. Time to first result, well, 60 to 90 days. Scalability, low. Complexity, moderate. As I've shown you, some are better than others, but none of them gives you low capital, high AI resilience, fast results, real scalability, and manageable complexity at the same time as you are working a serious full-time job. I'm not talking about a random warehouse job. You're actually managing a full-time job, right? My friend, let me introduce to you online-based service businesses using AI to help with the fulfillment and the sales process. Now, I want to be straight here with you. When most people hear this, they immediately think you need to be a developer or have a technical background or build something complicated, some complicated product from scratch. This is not what I'm describing, okay? And I want to explain exactly why this works and why the next 12 to 24 months are the most important window to understand it in as well. Here's what's actually happening right now. Every business in the world has already made the decision to use AI. The decision is settled. They know that they need to be using AI. But what they've not figured out is, well, how do I actually use AI? How do I implement it inside my specific operation? And how can I use it to reduce my costs and actually, well, make more money instead? This problem is not going away anytime soon, and it's only growing and becoming bigger and bigger every single quarter. And the people who can walk into a business and deliver an AI-powered outcome that makes a measurable difference, those people are being actively sought out for and paid serious money. That problem is not going away. It is getting bigger every single quarter. And the people who can walk into a business and deliver an AI-powered outcome that makes a measurable difference, those people are being actively looked out for and paid serious money for as well. You see, most people are looking at AI from the wrong side of the transaction. They are worried about being replaced by it. And for the people selling their time to do something AI can now do cheaper, that fear is legit. But there is another side, and on that side there is no displacement, there is demand. The people selling AI, delivering it, implementing it, building with it, are not being replaced. They are the disruption. And because AI itself keeps evolving, this compounds rather than commoditizes. If one solution disappears because AI now can do it, well, you can just upgrade to the next version that AI just used to take over that job. So you're always on the right side of this equation. You're always one step ahead. But let's run this through our 5 categories because I want you to see why this comparison is not even close. Upfront capital, near zero. You don't need any investors. You don't need to build product from scratch. You're delivering outcomes using tools that already exist. So a laptop and a few $100s in software subscriptions is generally all you need to get started. AI resilience, well, it's the highest of anything we've discussed today. You're not underneath AI, you're the one deploying it, so you're literally the tool. You are using the tool that is replacing jobs to build more leverage for yourself. Time to first result. We're not here to chase quick wins. However, you can do this. You can land your first job within 30 to 60 days. Angelo, for example, signed 2 clients in 60 days while working full-time and playing semi-professional football. Aman and Matthias went from $0 to $12,000 in 7 months. This is not even a 12-month runway before you see anything. Scalability, this is where it becomes generally different from everything else because you build an AI solution once, a system, a workflow, and implementation, and then you sell it again and again and again. You're not starting from zero with every new client. You're literally deploying something that already works into a new context. That is real leverage because, well, if you can sell something digital over and over again, something that costs you nothing, preferably, or close to nothing, and there is no limit to how many times you can sell it, that's real scalability. Complexity, you don't need a technical degree, you don't need a massive following, you don't need investors or a team on day one. You need professional judgment, the ability to understand a business and its problems, and 2 to 4 hours of focused work alongside your current job until that income is real enough to move on and, well, replace your job. So to summarize building an AI online income, upfront capital near zero. AI resilience, very high. Time to first result, 30 to 60 days. Scalability, high. Complexity, low. Now let me paint a picture of how this actually stacks up against everything else. The MBA, very high capital, low AI resilience, zero scalability, you end up back inside the same machine. Switching jobs, fast but zero scalability, zero AI resilience, you're delaying the problem, not solving it. E-commerce, high capital, high complexity, fragile scalability, not suited to someone building alongside a full-time job. Freelancing, near zero capital but low AI resilience and a hard ceiling on income, you eventually rebuild the same trap. Remote sales, moderate across the board but always someone else's ceiling. Building an AI online income, well, near zero capital, very high AI resilience. I don't want to say fast results, but unfortunately it is. Real scalability and low complexity. We can't argue with this. It's not even close. And I'm not a tech guy. I have no tech degree and I'm not an AI guy. I've always hated laptops. So I'm not saying this because I like AI and I'm like a tech nerd. I don't know anything about coding. I'm not that tech guy, okay? But I want to ask you something directly. Do you think I would have built an entire institution around this, TEU, the Entrepreneurship University, the curriculum, the framework, the whole thing, if I didn't believe completely in where this is going? I didn't build TEU to sell a program. I built it because I'm completely convinced that the professionals who position themselves on the right side of AI in the next 12 to 24 months are going to look back at this moment the way people who got into e-commerce in 2012 look back at that decision now. And truly getting into this now is exactly that. It's like getting into e-commerce 10 or 12 years ago, before the market matured, before the margins compressed, before everyone was doing it. And the people who moved then built businesses that still run today. But the people who waited fought for what was left. The AI implementation market is going to look very different in 5 years, I assume. Obviously, no one can predict the future. But right now, it is still early. And right now, the demand is outpacing the supply of people who can actually deliver. And that's all we care about. Like, that's literally my purpose. Why I built TU is because I want to provide full freedom to men like yourself. Because I know how it is. I was that person. We want full freedom. We want to be able to provide for our families. And we've realized that inflation is a real thing, right? Two of our parents had to work to provide for a full house. But now barely two full working adults can actually finance a full house, let alone get kids or buy cars or whatever, right? So inflation is a real thing. We're only making less and less money. We're actually being left with less and less room to move around or go on a vacation once a year. For what? Only to get a 4-week vacation every year and maybe not even be able to do what we actually wanted to do. I know that. That's why I built TEU. And entrepreneurship is a great solution, in my opinion, the best solution, specifically online based entrepreneurship, because you get the locational freedom with it, and the time freedom and the financial freedom once you've actually built something that makes you enough money. So all that just to say that I'm no tech guy. I don't care about AI. The only thing is that AI is right now allowing us to achieve that full freedom. That's all it is. It's just a tool and we can actually use it. So quite simply, you have a decision to make. Are you going to get on the right side of this now while the window is still open? And using this tool is actually an opportunity, an amazing opportunity for people like us to actually achieve this full freedom and build something of our own? Or are you going to wait until it looks more obvious and find that everyone else has had the same idea at the same time? That honestly is the only decision in front of you right now. The link to find out exactly what the next step looks like is in the description below. So click the first link in the description. You can sign up for one of the next open seminars that we will host at TEU. And well, I can see you there. And as always, I'm watching and I'm rooting for you.